Want to give all praises and our honor and our glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Rakal Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the elders in Connecticut, the brothers in the Four Winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking their lives more now than ever. The hopeful elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel and have come back to the fold. To you sisters, you Akwaftim, listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader. This your brother Aram Yahweh with a lesson.
Can end the filibuster by himself? Yeah, he can sign an executive order to end the filibuster. He actually can. Oh, yeah. Imagine if you go to a restaurant and they tout the best thing on the menu, and then all of a sudden when you order it, they say, oh, that's sold out. Like, that's what Biden is doing for a lot of people, especially black people, who he got 90% of them to vote for him, but hasn't passed the George Floyd Policing Act. He's saying you think Biden did it? No, Biden can use his executive order, he can use different powers, and that's the same thing with this abortion issue, because he can do anything like end the filibuster. But why doesn't Biden want to end the filibuster in order to push this through? Because Biden knows that the filibuster has been used by Democrats 300 times over the last 6 years. Biden knows that Chuck Schumer is one of the people who use the filibuster the most. And so Biden just want to look crazy and lose his election seat and know that he's in the midterms and not really having anything to run on. So a lot of can end the filibuster by himself. Yeah, he can sign an executive order to end the filibuster. He actually can. Oh.
I need your ID also, please, sir. Okay, I'm going to place you under arrest then.
You're not placing me under arrest. I have no right to ask for anything.
Come here. All right. Taser. He is under arrest. He's under arrest.
For what?
For trespassing and for disorderly conduct.
Public property. Get not disorderly.
Absolutely. When he's in front of the business, yelling everybody.
Public.
He refused to give me his ID, which he's required to do.
For what?
So I could issue him a citation for trespassing.
It's not trespass.
I need your ID also, please, sir.
Yeah, so I put those two videos because you could see the division, right? In that first video, it said evil versus evil, right? And then the lady was basically speaking about them actually protecting so-called black people, which Biden could do, you know, by passing certain laws and passing certain bills and you know, using his power to veto or to force things to happen to protect so-called black people, being that they had gave him what 90% of his votes, so-called, right? And the only thing they could say, you know, kind of like now, I mean, I don't know if you see it, but it's a common theme that they want to give you to people who's actually making more sense than a little bit, to throw in crazy. Because if I don't know if you recognize, they were saying this lady is bat shit crazy. Basically, that's what it was saying, right? So how is Kanye saying something about his people, which are so-called black people, and he's crazy? She's saying something about it, and she's crazy. So anytime you say anything about anything, you're crazy. So, but this is let's go ahead and go into it, and then of course you've seen the cops, right? Because so this is a country completely divided against itself, man, right? All the way around. So it's like this. It's Matthew chapter 12 verse 25, and Yahushai, right? Because the letter J is only 400 to 500 years old. I mean, it didn't exist, you know. Jesus didn't exist. I mean, you could say Cesare Borgia did exist, but the whole theme behind it being Jesus don't exist, man. Right? There's no such thing as Jesus. So, and Yahushai know their thoughts and said unto them, right? Because the Lord knows your thoughts. It tells you that even the words of this Bible can tell the intents and thoughts of your heart, right? And that's ultimately what the Lord is dealing with, man. Hold on, let's get that. Yeah, so this is Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12. For the word of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, right? And Yahushai is the word, right? But this word first came forth through his Father, right? Because that's what he said. I will not tell you anything but what my Father hath told me. I will not show you anything but what my Father hath showed me. And that's what Yahushua said when he was here on the scene. So that's how you know that he's the express image of his Father, not just in deed, but in even how he looked, right? So it says, for the word of power, which is Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing, right? Because this is what's happening, man. A lot of division, man. To the dividing of sunder of the soul, and the soul of America, that spirit of America, that pride is being ripped out, man. And it's bringing, it's, you know, it's Babal, right? You know what I mean? It's confusion, Babylon, right? It's nothing but confusion here in the first place. But now the Lord is pushing forth what? More confusion, right? The Lord is pushing forth for them to be divided against themselves, right? Because the Lord is putting pressure by the prophecies coming to pass. Now they got but a short time, right? And the spirit, right? This place ain't got the spirit anymore, man. There's no spirit in America no more. And the joints and marrows and is a discerner, right? This is what it is, man. Right? When you read was it John 1, it said, and the word became flesh, man, which is talking about Yahushai. So this word, even Yahushai standing in front of those Pharisees, he could discern, the discerner of what? Of thoughts, man. He knew their thoughts and intents of the heart, right? And ultimately that's what this is, man. This is to understand the thoughts and intents of your heart, man. And that's just what this is, man. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Rakah Kadash, man. He is about to destroy this Edomite system, man. Starting with America, right? Yeah, so let's get back right here. Matthew 12 and 25. And Yahushai knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided, right? And America's completely divided, man. Even you so-called black people, man, because you're really have emerged and connected yourself with America, right? And you buy into the philosophies and the ways of the devil, man, of your enemy, right? So it says, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, right? Destruction, desolation. And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And America's not going to stand, man. All this, going back and forth, all these different things because they can't agree. And then a lot of it's opposed opposition, but in your opposed oppositions where you're setting it up to make it look like opposition, well, other people are actually taking to those oppositions, and either which way it's causing what? Division. So whichever way you want it, whichever way you're going to cut it or slice it, Biden said he was going to bring the country together, but it's more divided than ever, right? And if Satan casts out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? And this is the kingdom of the Edomites, man. And these Edomites are against each other, man. Right? The so-called Western world, as they say it, NATO, EU, and America is against what? Russia, which are Edomites. So guess what? You're not going to stand. Your kingdom, the Edomite kingdom, is not going to be able to stand much longer. Even if you got simple-minded Jakes going against it, man. Right? You seen the lady say making so much sense, right? But their whole thing was to put that she's crazy, right? Their whole thing is to say Kanye's crazy, but it's only crazy when you're trying to protect the children of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. That's the reason why it says that we are to be looked at as a spectacle, man. Right? We're to be buffoonish, right? We're looked at as foolish, right? But the foolishness of this world, right, is nothing to the Most High, man. Your science, your thing, it's foolishness to the Most High. And if I be, you know what? Because let's go into that Satan, right? Because you're so simple and so divided against each other, you don't even know who Satan is, man.
Strong's G 4567, Satanas, Satanas. Thayer's lexicon, Satan, Satan.
Satan, which is Satan, Satanas, Satan, or I think the Arabs say Shaitan, right? Which is basically your enemy. It says adversary, which is your enemy. One who opposes another in purpose, right? And our purpose is to be the head of this world under Yahweh Shai, under King David, under the 144,000, ruling with the laws and the statutes going out throughout the whole entire earth. That is our purpose, man. Our act, right? We're in the acts of the Bible, man. And we're gonna go back through that again, right? This is gonna be the time of Acts in the Bible when they're gonna persecute the men that taught. When they went through and killed all the what you call disciples who then became apostles, and they killed all the apostles except for John on the island of Patmos, right? But they, even though he was 90 years old, they still suffer him at 90 years old to be a slave, right? And these are the things you're gonna go through, not being a slave, but you're gonna go through FEMA camps, man, because there's no other place for you to run anymore. That's why the Lord said it's not gonna stand. It's gonna be desolation, and this time it's gonna be complete desolation. The name given to the prince of evil spirits. Yeah, but it's also given to a man, right? Because watch, if we skip down here, down to where it's gonna make sense, because this goes into the return on Christ's return from heaven. He will be bound and chained for 1,000 years, which that's already happened. So they don't know what they're talking about. He's already been loose, and it said that he was going to deceive the world again when he got loose. Well, that happened in the time of the Renaissance, man. So he's already been loose from his 1,000 years, and he's been already deceiving the world. So that they don't know what they're talking about right there. So right here, a Satan-like man. So that's what we're dealing with. The self-proclaimed so-called white man, which is a Satan-like man, right? Where's that other one? Oh, right here. Circumventing men by his wiles. So let's go into that. Circumventing men by his wiles. Yeah. So this is circumvent or circumventing, right? To find a way around an obstacle, right? Go down here. It says overcome a problem or difficulty, right? And ultimately that's what Esau is coming to. He's coming to an trying to get around the obstacles of Yahushai is going to be in rulership, man. He's trying to get around the fact that the Lord had already set up in the womb that with Jacob is going to rule forever. He's trying to get around that obstacle. He's trying to overcome the problems and difficulties that he have with you're a spiritual people and he's carnal. So he has to find a way to get you to be carnal. Try to overthrow you from your seat. Right? Right? Says, I have found a quite easy to circumvent security, right? So they're trying to find a way to get around the security that which is the Bible, man. And there's no easy way. You cannot get around the Bible, man. You can't self-impose because they're playing council culture through the scriptures, man. Their whole thing is the Israelites been put away, so now we can add every other nation to this thing. They're trying to cancel culture, you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, which are the Israelites, with those are what bywords, man. Right? So it says, while a devious or cunning stratagems, right, employed in manipulating or persuading someone to do something, to do what ones want, right? And that's ultimately what they're doing. They're using all they could do in their stratagem. Let's look up stratagem, which you pretty much probably know what that is, right? But even this is the thing, says tricks, man, wiles, tricks, and didn't the scripture says beware of the wiles? If you do this, you can hold fast, and you can get from the wiles of the devil. Why? Hold into the scriptures, man. Right? Yeah. So
Stratagem.
Right? A plan or scheme, especially one used to outwit an opponent, right? And you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians are the self-proclaimed so-called white man's opponent, man. All day, every day. Right? Or achieve an end. And their end is to have their enterprise go on forever, which is the New World Order. Right? So that the wickedness can go on forever. So this is their plans. That's what strategy means, is to make, and they've done that. They do this 100 years, 200 years in advance on you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. How did they know to try to put a so-called man of color as president? And they did that years in advance, and they groomed him. They trained him under the so-called small hats to train him to become what they wanted and what they needed him to become. Right? These are strategies. They're out to win. You think people care about you living a life? The people don't care, man. Because these people don't care about you. They're willing to push this bio economy, man. They want to make everybody cyborgs. So you think they give a damn about you? According to the Georgia Guidestones, they're talking about wiping out more than half the Earth's population. The Earth's population is about 8 billion people, and they're talking about wiping out 7.5 billion of them. You think they care about you? That's why it's like this. That's why it says it's Ephesians 6:10 finally, right? Because we're coming to the end of this thing, man. We're at the end of this thing. We're at the end of this world, man. right? And the Lord is fed up, and the Lord has started to speak about these things, and the Lord is going to require judgment on all the blood that's been spilled, man. Right? And the Lord is going to go all the way back to the prophets of old, when he's going to require it of you Israelites, and he's going to require it of you nations, man. Finally, my brethren, right? You so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, you Israelites, who phenotype may look like another nation, but your bloodline goes back to Israel, man. You're our brethren. Be strong in Yahushai, or Adawanya, right? And in the power of his might, man, because the blood of Yahushai and Mashiach is what is protecting us. It is what allows you entrance and access to Yahweh, man. That's why we say Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is a king. It's like having that stamp of approval in order to come into the prayer, to the courtroom of the Lord and pray, because it tells you you come bold and unashamed into the throne room of the Most High. How can you do that? By the name, by that stamp of approval of Yahushai, man. Not of Jesus. That don't exist, man. The letter J never existed, man. Put on the whole armor. Right? Did I read that? Brother, in the strong, be in the strength of the Lord and in the power of his might. Yeah. And put on the whole armor of Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles, right? And we read what wiles mean, man. Right? The wiles are basically cunning devices, man. A cunning way to get over, or to scam you, or to trick you, right? Of the devil, man. And the devil goes into it means to falsely accuse, right? And that's ultimately what he's been doing. But devil and Satan is actually synonymous, right? Because it actually goes into it being your adversary. Because the devil, being a false accuser, that's an adversary, right? For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, right? But against principalities and against powers and against rulers of darkness of this world, right? Dealing with your spiritual demon Satan, but even the ruler of this world, because they pray to Satan. Their God is Satan, and they're ruling this world, of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places, right? Because it's dealing with, matter of fact, I think that principality. Let's look into that. Yes, it's a principality, territory ruled by a prince, right? 14th century, as government by a prince, meaning religion or state ruled by a prince. A monarch is attested from late 14th century state of being supreme, superior, right? Superior. Let's see. It's a 13th century principality position of a prince from old French principalite lit, principle, matter, power, sovereignty, right? Which is dealing with a person, man, because Satan don't have sovereignty. Satan has to do what the Lord says. So this is talking about people, right? And even then, a man only can go as far as the bounds of what the Most High say he has, right? But you know, these certain countries, right? They have so-called sovereignty, and they can rule it how they want to rule it, you know. But Satan, the physical demon Satan, cannot do that.
Strong's H 7854. Satan. Satan.
Satan, see, 7854. Satan, adversary, right? Which, if you go into the word adversary, means enemy. One who withstands, right? Which is your enemy. Adversary in general, right? And when you go into general, it could be, you know, military, or just, you know, just in general, just this person, you know, who these people are, which are the Edomites, the self-proclaimed so-called white men. In general, personal, or national, right? And nationally or nationally, or right, the Edomites are against you Israelites. It's a nation thing. It's not a color. It's not necessarily about a color. It's about a nation, right? You so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians are generally brown, but we got our people who are what? Different color. They some look white, some look Asian, some look all these different things, but their bloodline, it's about a national thing. It's about a nation thing. It's about the Lord bringing back the nation of Israel, starting with the elect, right? A superhuman adversary, right? And that's what they are in a sense, even though they're weak, but they're superhuman. Why? Because they have what? They have the tanks, they have the planes, they have the drones, they have all these different things. They have the media that can just say, because you're saying, hey, look, why aren't they protecting black people? They said they were going to pass this. They said they were going to look out for us. When we vote for them, there's nothing. When we create this whole entire society that they live in that makes it comfortable for them, when we created the TV, the elevator, the car, the phone, we created all these things, these different amenities, right? The elevator, right? The shoe conveyor, all these things that you know, the car, the lights that go on the car, the seat belts. It was a so-called black man that did that. The first open heart surgery was done by a black man, right? All these innovations we have created, but then they only want to think that you only do basketball, baseball, but then we're the greatest at that too, right? So they're only great at creating things that kill you, death weapons, laser weapons, ICBM, hypersonic ICBMs. This is what they're good at, man. So that kind of makes them superhero, right? And basically goes back into Satan, right? Right? And all they ever do is oppose you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, man. They withstand you. And anything they falsely accuse you, right? And their narrative is to say you're crazy. So this is Revelation chapter 20, verse 2. And he laid hold on the dragon, which goes into the Roman Empire, in which we're in the second leg of Rome, right? That old serpent, which going back to the Garden of Eden, the old serpent, which is the devil, right? The false accuser. And Satan, which is your adversary, right? So this thing been going on forever, since the beginning of the world. And bound him 1,000 years, right? So this thing has already happened, right? Go into this real quick. I wonder what they give you when you look up dragon. Draconian. All right, draconian laws. Yeah, because that's really what they finna go into that real soon.
Strong's G 1404. Dracon. Dracon.
Draconian laws. Yeah, that's what basically what they're getting ready to implement. Draconian laws, right? See what it says. A dragon or a great serpent, a name of Satan, which is really your adversary. This you're not going into, but yeah, it's called draconian laws. That's what they're going to be doing, right? Which is, the self.
Strong's G1228. Diabolos. Diabolos.
Yeah, so that Diabolus or the Satan, which are synonymous, and they're showing you that it's synonymous. All that goes together. The Satan-like man goes into Diabolus, and the Diabolus is what? Prone to slander, right? The self-proclaimed so-called white man is prone to slander you, right? Slanderous, accusing falsely, right? By saying you're crazy because you want to protect your own people, right? I seen a thing on Iverson, and he said that they were saying that they were making fun of him because he helped his own people. I mean, only it happens to us where someone can make fun of you for helping your own people. Wouldn't that go without question? Right? So you could believe that you are the Israelites, man. Nobody else is saying that. Biden's passing laws for Asian protection. So you cannot slander an Asian, right? It says calumniator, false accuser, slander, right? Oh, wait. Who by opposing the cause of God may be said to act the part of the devil. Hey, that's the self-proclaimed so-called white man. He's acting, he's opposing all that is called, opposing all that is called God. And he's what? He's acting the part of the devil upon the earth, right?
Strong's G1225. Diabolo.
Diabolo, which is basically going into devil. Going a little bit deeper, going into the etymology of that. Diabolo went a little bit further. To throw over or across, right? Basically, to try to cross you out. To sin over. To traduce. Accumulate, slander, accuse, defame, right? To defame you.
Calumniate.
Calumniate. Oh, hey, Christopher Columbus. He had a nomen omen name then, huh? Make false to defamatory statements about foes were calumniating him in the U.S. press. So ain't that pretty much what they're doing to Kanye West, right? Or anybody who stands up to say something about their people. Talking about especially you so-called black people, you so-called Hispanic people. Right? Yeah, because so even in this example, it's talking about the U.S. press, which is dealing with the media. The U.S. press is slandering them, right? It's a foe to you so-called black people. A foe is another way of saying enemy, right? But it's crazy that even in this example, it's in the U.S. press. But you so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, or even the people in the world, are pretending like what he's saying is so far-fetched that here it is in the own definition that what the U.S. press or the media can slander you. It's not far-fetched. Caucasus, see, there's Russia, Georgia, but it's also Europe, right? So go ahead and this is Caucasus, Russia, Kavkaz Mountains system laying between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, east and occupied by Russia, Georgia, right? Let's see. The Great History Barrier of the Caucasus Mountains raise up across the wide isthmus, separating the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea in the region where Europe and Asia coverage. Let's see. The Great Caucasus, Russia, Kivkaz, North. What was that? Let's sing something. The water. Shield, the water sheet of the Great Caucasus, the backbone of the system, traditionally has been part of the line dividing Europe and Asia, but Europe's eastern boundaries have been the subject of much debate. Right. One widely accepted scheme drawn as dividing line along the crest of the Great Caucasus region, putting the portion of the region north of the line in Europe and the south portion in Asia, right? So you can even say, I guess you can say Asia too, but mainly I just say the Caucasus Mountains, because that's where they went into, the Caucasus Mountain in Europe. But basically, it has a divided line between the Caucasus Mountain, which is in Russia, but also Europe. So, Revelation chapter 20 verse 3, and cast him into the bottomless pit, which is the Caucasus Mountains. I know a lot of people say Europe, because Europe is the bottomless pit, but it's also the Caucasus Mountains, right? And shut him up and set a seal upon him, that he should be that he should wait and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more until the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he might be loose a little season, in which that's ultimately what he was during the Renaissance time. That's a little season from the Renaissance time until now. It's a short season, right? Yeah. So this is Revelation chapter 17, verse 9. Here is the mind which had wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, which goes into governments or rulerships, kingdoms, right? And there's kingdoms that come up, they rise up as a kingdom, and then they fall, right? Are on which the woman satteth, right? Which is America, right? Because this thing go in and out of the past and the future, and the past and the future. So, you got to be able to discern it. So, and there are 7 kings, right? Which goes into kingdoms, things, times of people ruled, and 5 are fallen, and 1 is, right, which dealing with the Roman Empire, right? And those 5 kingdoms that fell were what? The Greek, Germanium Major, Germanium Minor, the French, and Spain. They fell as Edomite kingdoms, right? Because especially like dealing with the Spain during the time of the Renaissance, they were the ones who spearheaded the Renaissance, right? They had all the money, they had the power at that time, Spain. But then, of course, it said, what was that? Fallen, and 1 is, which was dealing with the Roman Empire, right, at that time, and another, it says, and the other is not yet come, right, which is dealing with Great Britain, and when he cometh, he must rule, he must continue a short space, right? So when Great Britain came up and ruled, because they basically took over the spot of Spain and had that power that Spain had when Great Britain was ruling, but they only ruled but a short space, and basically gave over, because at one point in time, I think it was Apostle Gabar said that at one point in time that the world currency was the euro, was from Britain, and Britain had, they got control. It had, Britain was the world currency, but then they flipped it over and gave the world currency to America. So that's that power. So it goes into, and it says, and the beast, which was, right, which was Great Britain, and is not. So now Great Britain is not in that power spot. Even he is the 8th, right? Because what? America came out of Great Britain. So America is basically the same thing. That's why I have pretty much the same colors and all that other type of things, right? And even the song, when you do the Pledge of Allegiance, the same exact melody is what they use in Britain that you sing the American national anthem with. So it's the exact same. So that proves it. It proves that this is still Britain, right? America is. Even he is the 8th, right? Which is still Britain, but it's called under a different name, America, which is that woman, which is the harlot, the whore, right? He is the 8th and is of the 7th, right? Came out of the 7th, which is Great Britain, and goeth in perdition, because what? America is going to be destroyed overall, right? This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 5. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and powers was given unto him, right? See, because that's when Great Britain gave up their power and gave it to America, and now America is the world currency, and America has that power, right? They gave it to America. Hey, right? Now America starts speaking these great swelling things, these great words, great things, and blasphemies, and power was given unto him, right? That's having that monetary gain to have the world currency given to him 40 and 2 months, right? Which when you go into that was from that time, from the time that Europe went from that into the time of the what do you call it? The Treaty of Rome. I think that was only 50 years, 40 years or 50 years. It's a couple since from now, yeah, from the time that they made the Treaty of Rome, which allows you to know that they're the Romans, because it's only been a few years. I think it goes back to like the 60s, the 50s or the 60s, the late 50s or the 60s now, which is roughly about 50 years, 60 years, maybe 60 years. Let's just say it's been 60 years from the 19. This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 5. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, dealing with, this is basically talking about America, right? And power was given unto him, right? Because Great Britain had the power, but they gave it. They didn't go to war. They didn't do any of these other things. They basically gave it over to America so America could be the face of this thing, because there was something new about America. People was excited about America, and you know, it was that thing that they wanted to use America to be that trend, to set the trend through the world. Because at one time, Britain was that trend. Like, have you seen the Last Samurai? The Last Samurai, the guy was, at that time, he was emulating. He was an Asian guy who wanted to be like the people of Europe, right? He wanted to be like an English guy, but Britain transferred that power over to America by letting it have the world currency. So to continue 40 and 2 months, right? And that goes into the Roman treaty, right? It says Europe. This is Treaty of Rome, Europe, 1957. It says Treaty of Rome, originally 1957 through 1993. Treaty establishing the European Economic Community, seceded already by 1993 to 2009. Treaty establish the European Community, and 2009 treaty on the functioning of the European Union, also called together with the establishing of the Euro Atomic Energy Community, Treaties of Rome, right? Which is in March 25th, 1957. Yeah. So they said that you put the year. So this is 2022. So 2022 divided by 19 57. So it's 65 years. So about 65 years. So get back right here. Say he continued 40 in 2 months. So that's roughly about 65 years, right? Because now it's time for him to go into what? Perdition, right? Because this is around the time it says, and he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Yahweh, right? And how did he blaspheme? It goes into John F. Kennedy about, what was it, 1965, right? When they were talking about going into outer space or whatever, right? That was blasphemy against the Lord. To blaspheme the name and his temple, right? Dealing with the people, right? Because that their whole hope was to see if they can go out there and destroy the sun or the moon or do some type of things, try to go beyond, see if maybe they can go into heaven, right? So they can go beyond what the Lord said, you know, see if they can go find a different way, right? Beyond what the Bible says. And it was given to him to make war with the saints. So ultimately, this devil is against you, and he'll use his media. So don't be surprised that even in the definition, it was telling you that what? It was saying the press, the U.S. press, has slandered a person, defamed them, right? So you can't be surprised that they're using their media to defame you, because they're here to make war with the saints, right? Which are you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, and to overcome them, right? And the power was given him over all the kindreds and tongues and nations, right? Let's go into, let's see if I can, what's that part? No, it's 6, right? Yes, 6. Revelation chapter 6, verse 7. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast and said, come and see, and look, and behold, a pale horse, and his name, and his name that sat upon him was death, and hell followed with him, right? Which is the self-proclaimed so-called white man. That's why we're finna go into World War III. And everywhere he ever went, he conquered, he killed, and he plundered and stole the natural resources and all these other different things, right? People die when the so-called white man pulls up, which is Esau, Edom, right? And power was given unto him, them over the fourth part of the earth, right? So they're ruling what? Pretty much the whole entire habited earth right now. They've been going to make wars over here, and they've basically been doing it throughout the whole four corners of the earth, the full four parts of the earth. And the fourth part of this earth is where? America, right? Whether you're dealing with Canada or America or South America, it's all the Americas basically, right? The fourth part of the earth, right? Fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword. And what have they been doing with their military? Going across the world, killing with the sword. And the modern day sword is a gun, and with hunger, right? And there's famines everywhere. There's famine, and the famine's finna increase, man. Ultimately, to try to pull up a great upset, a reset, or upset, right? Because what else could you do to put the world in your possession? If you starve them out, people are gonna automatically go and get the bioeconomy mark, which will order you to be able to buy and sell, except he that had the mark, right? The mark of that beast, the mark of the charagma, right? The the bioeconomy, CHIP, right? And you're gonna starve people out, right? And with death, and with the beast of the earth, right? And ultimately, that's what it is. So call Volume Yahweh, Basham Yahweh Shai, Basham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the occupant of four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking their lives more now than ever. The hopeful elect, the elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel and have come back to the fold. Shalom, right? To you sisters, you Akwathium who listen and learn under your husband, which